Where is Silver? I've already lost Silver. Did I pass her? Going crazy. Where Silver is a C? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Julia can do. I feel Julia can do more. Now Jenny is very different. Early game, she's extremely powerful, very good. She's a great early game archer. She's probably the one that will do everything early game. She'll make a huge difference, and she's very nice awakened. There's a lot of things about Jenny. Jenny has been underestimated. I think she's better than Kirk's at the beginning 100%, so that's why Kirk's is down there. So maybe Jenny is definitely the archer of choice, and she can generally cover you quite well throughout the game. She's just a general generally she's just good use. I'm quite impressed by her. I think she has been underestimated too much. She's not just early. I mean, maybe so where should she go later? I mean, I use her in my general team, and I don't give her an ultimate. I think she's all right. I use her quite often. I like her. I like her awakening. I like her skills. So I don't think B is a bad position for her. She's good. Should she be an A? She doesn't make such a great impact, but she is good. She's good in general. Kurumi, you don't need her leadership role, but she's literally like, if you don't have the sage staffs and you're using magicians, then Kurumi is your SS. It's the same for what's his name? It's the same for Shamak. I mean, if you're early game, if you are early game, Shamak could be the best. It depends who you're using at the beginning. If you're using physical attack, then Shamak is the best early game. If you're using magicians, then Kurumi is better early game. See, I did put Shamak A as early game, but what's great about Kurumi is that she summons as well, and those skeletons are pretty powerful. So it's like, in one respect for me, she is better than Shamak for what she does. So early game she's great. It's weird, late game I still find a good use for her. So honestly, she's brilliant as an early game. She could, for you guys, she could really be SS. It depends how you use her. So again, I'll stick. Let's get this early one. Get this early one done, and then later on, you might not, even if you don't need her, for her special abilities, you can just use her for her summons and her other debuff. And so she could work out very well in a normal role, and I don't know, I use her a lot, so I'll put her as an A, but she could honestly be an S. She's used a lot for me, but maybe Tori has reduced some of her usage, but she's really special in how you have to use her. So in some respects, she could be super if you don't have the sage staffs. So you've got to think carefully when you're going to use her. So again, I'd say special use, and it's exactly the same with Shamak. I should have also put, he requires special use. You should know how to use him. Okay, next is Grace. Grace is literally the worst. She's like the dog. I don't know why in Asia they like to say you dog. I don't know. Anyway, but she's so awful. But you know what's wrong with me? I just give her a chance. I just keep her on my team. everything seems so great about her, you know. She has all this power to protect you from like the magic defense, and it helps, and it does it on everyone. It looks amazing, right? She casts the ball, she protects everyone, but everyone dies. And very quick. I'm not even going to call her early game. I used her a lot early game, and it still wasn't enough. It's just that buff is not strong enough. That buff is weak. But I tell you something unbelievable is her use in World Boss. In World Boss, she could be an SS. You wouldn't believe it. In World Boss, she could be one of the best of the best. So you have to think how you're going to use her, you know. But anyway, I can still get by doing quite well without her in World Boss. So whatever, but I do feel sorry for her, and I use her a lot. And you know, she has and there's not many units that can get rid of crowd control, like deal with crowd control. And I think it's her passive that deals with crowd control. So I think because she can do a move that a lot of people cannot, I'll move her to a B. But you do, but it's only for crowd control, and it's for something as ridiculous as that. Because the thing is, right? There's no I think there's no weapon that will stop. There's no weapon that can stop. There's no armor to stop that. So she might be what you need, but the thing is, you can't really manual the use of it. Whereas with devs, you could. So I think with her, it's really hit and miss. It's really, really a hard one. But B, she's not even going to be in a 2v2, literally. She's going to be in a 3v3 team. It's really, really complex with her. Very difficult, this placement. I don't really think she hasn't done enough to be worth a B, but what else can I do? Alright, I'll just stick her here for now, but she's viable, let's say. She's better than Anna. What do I do? What do I do? Such a mess. Okay, so I switched them around. Yeah, I've moved them around a bit. So hopefully that might provide a bit more help. Now, Aisha is great. She's a healer. She's great. She's actually good in a normal role as well. So if you're not using her as, you know, but her faction buff is great. There's a lot she can do. She's very, very good. Goodness, it's spreading. These S units are really spreading, and it's not just, you know, it's the faction. It's that faction buff. Have I given? Yeah, I gave. Zenus also had the faction buff. Damn it! So this faction, the faction buff is it plays a very important role. Yeah, her faction is great. So if she's a faction buffer, it's like she plays two important roles. So I mean, it pushes her up more, but again, you know, she's also, again, she's quite good as a normal role. So you might want to use the other units as use their ultimates, and then use her for her normal, like, active and passive healing. Very nice. So yeah, a lot of things to think about there. Next one, Saria. What can you say? She's just a bad Kirks. She's just a bad Kirks. Never mind. Just I'll give her a B. She can be. In fact, if you're a whale, she can be nice. But there's no room. Sorry, so she can stay there. It's difficult to know what to do. You know, it's just nice to have the archers in the 3v3 or the 2v2. It's nice to have these archers because we don't have loads of magicians, like, who are heroes, who can do damage. but we have loads of archers who can do damage. So archers are really nice if you have an archer team, but with magicians all you're stuck with is like Ellen or whatever, so not much on the DPS side, but with archers there's too many to choose from. Okay, so yeah, so got Saria there. Her awakening is good as well, actually. Her awakening is very good, very powerful. The main reason people use her is because she has an eye patch and she looks like some hot girl from Steins Gate or something. Am I right? Steins Gate? No idea. No idea. Forgot. Never seen it. So yeah, shoot. So she's good. There's A for awakening. I think her awakening is good, and it's also important to remember that it's not only her awakening that's good. It's also yeah, Kirk's awakening and Ellen's awakening is also good. There we go. Got a lot of A's going there. Next is Devs. Wow, Devs. This is a big one. Devs. She is the hardest one to rank in the game for me. But at the same time, she has changed so much. Her change is unbelievable. No one... her awakening is unbelievable. Her soul weapon's unbelievable. Actually, and you don't need an expensive soul weapon for her. Let me quickly tell you, she heals, she dispels, she debuffs, and a huge range, and she buffs. What she does is she debuffs a group. Okay, that's the first thing. So, and Grace only debuffs one person. So remember, Devs debuffs a group. So she's a better version of Grace. Next, she buffs people, and if you calculate everything and add the soul weapon, you might even find that her buff is equivalent to Cobb's. And if you think it's all in one, you might even find she could be a better version of Cobb's. However, there you have to look into that carefully. But what Cobb's can't do, Cobb's can't deal with crowd control, and Cobb's can't heal. But Cobb's could be used as a damage dealer, but a very weird one. So we got a few weird things going here. Now the problem that Devs has with buffing is how she buffs. With Cobb's will choose the strongest people and buff them. But with Devs, I think her buff is connected to who she is closest to. And you must remember, yeah, recovers HP of one of your units. And, no. Sorry, that is not it. We need the full stats here. Look, we need awakened. Look. So, recovers HP of one of your units by 800%. Magic attack of her magic attack, increasing physical attack, magic attack, and attack speed by 70% for 10 seconds. That's 70%. I don't think Cobb's reaches 70%. I can't remember. But I'm very impressed. It's 10 seconds and the cooldown 6 seconds. Calculate it and see. But then if you add the soul weapon, take a look at soul weapon, and you might be quite surprised, although she has to stand still for 6 seconds. I still think it's worth. Immune to CC attack, duration 10 seconds. Actually, yeah, duration 30 seconds, cooldown 30, immune to CC. So I honestly, look at her ultimate. It throws an explosive, dealing damage to nearby enemies, reducing their healing effect by 75%. And restores 400% HP for all allies and debuffs, and the cooldown is just 15 seconds. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. This Devs is like no other. She's like no other. She can debuff. She can stop Natasha. Like not stop Natasha's move. Maybe she could. But when she grabs and pulls them and everyone is stunned, she could undo that if you manual her, you're in a very, very good position. Devs is the most underestimated in the game. She is amazing. She is better than ever. If you manual her, if you really know how to use her properly, you will definitely you'll gain a lot more out of her. And so she's kind of special use in some ways, so you better learn how to use her. But goodness me, this devs is literally the only thing that can save people from the hell of the werebeasts. So you might want to keep that in mind. Anyway, special needs, there you go. Is she good for other things? Yes, she is actually. You could actually use her like Cobbs without her ultimate. So she even has that function. Wow. So is she better than the Cobbs? Well, let's put it this way. She's similar. She has similarities to a Cobbs, but Cobbs is more easier to use. So it's a very difficult one. I'm going to put her after Cobbs, but you're going to have to look into her yourself. So please keep that in mind. Okay? Next is Lean, and what's interesting about Lean is that her passive can increase efficacy of Spearman by 10%, and it's a passive. This could come in handy if you get it right. And her normal skill is not bad actually about the spinning, but the cooldown can be quite long. Now her ultimate skill is unbelievable. This rapid stab and damage like 0.5 seconds 8 times. I mean, when you use her, you're going to see the damage. The damage output is pretty huge. She does make a huge mark on your team. In fact, I'm not going to go into it, but what surprises me is that she's boosted a lot thanks to her awakening. Her awakening is better than Mercedes, and you know, I respect her a lot more. She's improved more, so she's climbed up. So I do think she deserves a respectable A. I do think she's an A, but it's, yeah. So, but what I do wonder is, yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people say, you know, she's only good with her ultimate, but actually she's not only good with her ultimate. I mean, I think if you use her well for her efficacy boost and even her spinning and making the others dizzy, I think it's very viable. So whether you use her as a main, like as a leader, or whether you use her as a normal role, it's hard to know if I should put her as an S. Maybe in the future I would consider her an S, but still, I'm not. The production, what she's giving me, is still so much lower, but it's hard to calculate how important that 10% efficacy is. So very, very difficult to know and to understand if her soul weapon is good enough. Okay, sorry. Next up, Sean. Sean is a difficult one. I mean, Wales are able to exploit his potential, and he can cause a lot of trouble. For Wales, he's good. He's good for a whale. Whales drive me mad with him. So I definitely think if you use him well as a whale, use his soul weapon well, and I think you. And the thing is, you don't need to manual him. He just goes absolutely anywhere, and he just drives people insane, to be honest, because he can, if he catches your weaker units, like your healers and stuff, he can just take them out. Like a whale can take it out with one hit. Very, very, very irritating, to be honest. So I think that's great, but I think for general people, he's nothing special, even though he has a buff. He buffs swordsman. So I don't know. This is something to think about. I mean, this buff, when your HP drops to 70% or less, increases your swordsman's units, physical defense and magic defense by 10%. Is it really 10? I don't think it's 10. Sorry, this one. Yeah, 70 here. Sorry, here you go. It's hard to believe it's just like that, yeah. So, 70% or less. Yeah, by 30% for 20 seconds. I mean, this is actually what swordsmen need. They need this buff. So this buff is brilliant for the swordsman. So, but will he die? Will he survive until that time? It's difficult. So his buff is really nice. So you have to think about it. How are you gonna use him? How are you gonna exploit him? I would say, for me, I would probably want to keep him alive to use him for his buff. So I'd probably look at him as an A, and I would probably use him for a buff because he could really create quite a tanky team, and it's exactly what you'd be looking for. Would I use him here as a leader? Probably not. Probably not. Next is Bella. Bella, again, unfortunately, is a whale's choice, and a very good choice for a whale. Damn it, there's no room to put her up there, but she is a great choice for a whale. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. In terms of the whale side, I'm going to deal with it by not putting her in the whale box. But if you are one of the lucky ones to watch this video, then her ability in Guild Raid is shocking. She can do something that no one else can do, and she can stop the golem. This Bella is the reason why guilds can gain such. I mean, she's one of the major reasons for guilds to do so well. So keep that in mind. And if she's very powerful, she can cause a lot of trouble. The way she moves people around. No one else can move people like that. This is movement on another level. Now, in general, though, in general for your general team, I mean, again, she's not all that great. I mean, the interesting thing is that she can increase the cavalry's ranged evasion, and that ranged evasion, that might be something major in the future. The ranged evasion, you might find that you really need that 30% for 20 seconds and immune to crowd control for 10 seconds. Now, is that immune to crowd control? I need to do a check on that. Is that all the cavalry range? Is it going to be doing it? And actually, sorry, is it for her or is it for them? I'm sure it's for. Yeah, it's for them as well, from what I remember when I used to test her out. So, but are they immune to CC for 10 seconds and the ranged EVA for 20 seconds? I'm not sure. I think she's immune to that, but not everyone else. If all of them are immune to crowd control, I think that would be too much. She'd be too good. So, but maybe that's the case for the 50-second cooldown. So it could be the case. I'd need to do more checking into that. I'm not a werebeast person, but either way, this Bella is pretty important later on. So I'd go with her for quite a great late game hero. I'm going to put her here as an A, and I'm going to put her as a late, because I think a lot of people might not understand how to utilize her very well. Now, but her evasion skill is very special too, and that might just be enough. That might be what you really need. So her evasion skill, if you can use her correctly, it's a hard one whether people can use her correctly. So I think a lot of people would mess up. So I'm gonna put her. Yeah, I will put her here. No, the thing is, right, there's not enough. There's not. Yeah, it would work, but there's not enough times you would need her for doing that. So again, it causes a lot of problem. And again, it's going to be late. So you have to think how you're going to use her, to be honest. If you do have your faction team, yeah, you have no choice but to use her. So it's how you use her that matters. She could be higher, it depends how you look into her. Now, Sasha is, her AoE damage is, her damage isn't strong. At the beginning it's very strong, but like when you first play, it has an impact, but later on it has 0. The impact's very small. But with her soul weapon, with her active skill of like turning them into some, like, I don't know how to explain, but that transforming skill. I mean, Sasha is crazy in itself, whether you use her for her major ultimate skill or active and passive. She's a major one. She's so important. The thing with Ellen, right? The thing with Ellen is that she can take off more, but she's only in one the area is so small. But if you program Ellen to be in the right place, then she's much better than Sasha. But if you want Sasha for, in general, Sasha is just so good for everything. Like, because if you connect with her soul weapon, she can, I think she can stop the skills. I think she has, she can stop the skill of the other users. Like, she has some control over, I think, like, some crowd control over all users with her soul weapon. So with her soul weapon, she's really a danger. So she's definitely someone you don't want to mess with. I'm giving her an SS, and I think this goes very far for me because I do prefer Ellen. But if you objectively look at Sasha, she really does give a lot as well. But you do need crit. You do need to give her crit, and you do need to know how to use her correctly. So there's a lot of things here. We have you have to specially use her, and you need to you should really be considering her soul weapon. Her soul weapon plays a big role, and there's a big problem. It's a bit costly because it needs around it needs around how much probably level 10 to do some major do some major changes. So although she's very good, you need the correct, you need all the crit weapons on her. You need to be able to cleverly use her, and she only targets the back, while Ellen targets those closer to you. So you have to think very carefully, how does that work for you? I mean, in Arena, I don't necessarily use. In fact, I do. In 3v3 I use her, but in 2v2 I don't. In 2v2 I would use an Ellen. So Ellen again has more use for me. But as so many people are using Werebeast, it makes Sasha a very important one. So if you're going to invest, you might want to invest in Sasha, and more in Sasha than Bella. So that should give you that indication. Is it a whale unit? Not necessarily, but Sasha, yeah, in early game she makes a huge difference. In late game it seems less, but it's still important what she can do with that soul weapon. So think very carefully about that.